right here. Rolling, rolling, rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling, rolling. What you gonna? Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. It's a Friday night show, the best show of the week. I always love doing the Friday night show. As you know, it's the best time, isn't it? It's the best time. Everyone's looking forward to the weekend. Unfortunately, we have no football. I know that's not great. We've got FA Cup. We've got other teams to watch, but United, unfortunately, under Ruben Amorim, got knocked out. Remember, we actually didn't do too well. We've only got Premier League football to look forward to, and now we're going to start seeing more gaps in between the fixtures. So we might not see United as much as we want to see. But we've got good news today. Finally, some good news after a week that's been very turbulent. Let's not even talk about it, right? Okay, let's focus on the positives because we're a show about positivity. We look forward to Man United's successes and we like celebrating that rather than anything else because it's all about football. It's all about positivity. And let's be honest, it's been a rough week. It's been a rough week for lots of us. And it keeps on getting kind of rough. I'm going to be honest with you, because we are in serious problems when it comes to looking at managerial options. All that talk about, oh, we're going to go and get this manager and that manager, unfortunately, hasn't played to plan. It's not working out. It looks like everyone's dropping like flies. We are struggling. It's becoming now a point where who's going to be left for United to even consider? Or is it going to be Michael Carrick who's just going to get the job by default? He's going to become the permanent manager of Man United by default because there's going to be no other applications on the desk of Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada. They're not going to have anyone to consider. No one's going to want the job. No one. Enrique even. We're talking about Enrique. Now, we did hear last week some rumours about United trying to reach out to Enrique and tell him not to sign a new contract with PSG and wait till United get their shit together and they can offer him something. That's what we heard. I do not believe that. I really don't. I think that would be an audacious move by United, and I think they might have put the feelers out. Don't get me wrong. I do understand that they might have put the feelers out, but they've not formally contacted him or his representatives. So it's a long way away before we even start talking about Enrique. But we've got news that Tuchel's signing a new contract, and today we got the news that Ancelotti is also committing himself to Brazil. Why not, right? Why not? He loves his time on the beach. I saw him out there. We've seen images of him being out on the beach in Brazil, living his life, and why not? He's a chilled out dude. He loves what he's doing. And look, we can't force him to leave the sunshine of Brazil and move to Manchester. I think that I don't think he fancies that. I think he's had his time at Everton, and I don't think he fancies coming over to a rainy Manchester. But anyway, let's first focus on some positive news coming out today. And the most positive news is that our interim manager, Michael Carrick, has won the January Premier League Manager of the Month. Has this come too early? Are we hyping him too much? I don't think so. Look, after a season, after the season that we've had, and then suddenly him coming in and doing what he's done has been impressive. Because we were rock bottom. These players were playing awful football, and he's come in and he's instilled confidence, he's instilled some shape, some system. The way they were playing is just suits the players are responding, and he's got the results backing him. We've absolutely cooked under Carrick, and we've forgotten Ruben Amorim. We've forgotten. Who would have thought? We would have not even thought about Ruben Amorim and what he did. I mean, it was awful football. Now you're comparing it and you think, wow. I mean, it's day and night, isn't it, the football? But anyway, let me go to the chat. I want to hear from everybody else as well early in today's show, because I want to hear what they think about this news about Michael Carrick getting his plaudits already 1 month into it, and he's already winning Manager of the Month. Will this be the kind of the beginning of the end for him as well. There are some fans panicking, thinking, oh shit, could this mean, this is where he's peaked and it just goes downhill from now on, which could happen. I mean, we got our wins and now we're at a draw. Is the next game going to be a loss? I mean, yes, some fans are thinking like that, and I'm not, though. I'm positive. I think this guy has turned things around. The only question mark we have is whether he can pick up these players after this week and the debacle around Sir Jim Ratcliffe and everything else. We've heard today reports of the players not being happy, being a bit disillusioned. We heard about, it was an article from The Athletic, so we know The Athletic are pretty close to the Man United dressing room. They've got the ear to the ground, and they know what's going on, and they've reported that some players have been left disillusioned by the comments made by Jim Ratcliffe about, the immigrants and things like that. And, well, I would have expected that. I would have expected that from the players. And, of course, Carrick had the awful job and the worst job to go in there and, pick them up and try and paint a different picture in there. I mean, I don't know how he would have done that, but clearly, I don't envy him in any way. It would have been a very difficult dressing room to go into and speak to the players and try and explain his way, or Jim Ratcliffe's way out of this. It's a minefield out there. It's a minefield. No matter what your thoughts are on that, it's a difficult position to put Michael Carrick, the poor fella, in. I mean, he should be celebrating his win with his team. Here he is with everybody else. Johnny Evans there as well, loving it. He's loving it. I mean, look, they've done well. The lads have done well. Michael Carrick, manager of the month. But yes, of course, we've got lots of games still left to this season ends, and we've got to qualify for Champions League. And if we don't, I think then question marks will be on whether Michael Carrick gets a job. And that's what we're leading into today, because the big news story is that Tuchel has committed himself to England. Then we've got Ancelotti committing himself to Brazil. There's question marks over Enrique. And then there's other managers around that are all kind of not committing themselves to United either. So is this a position that's going to be really hard to fill for United? I think it's been made difficult with everything that's happened this week with Jim Ratcliffe as well. I mean, again, it shows that the stability of the club depends on the owners, and the owners are simply not stable enough. They're completely doolally. They're completely crazy. And any manager looking at over thinking, why would I want to join that? I mean, forget the finances for a moment. Now we've been talking about finances, but finances is, of course, one of the biggest issues at United, because any manager looking at United will be thinking, do I join a club that has got zero commitment financially to making things better? Of course, that's really important. And if any fan turns around and says, oh, finances don't make a difference, they're not on the right planet. They're not on planet Earth, and they're not watching Premier League and world football and how clubs are throwing money at problems and solving them. That's how it's done, unfortunately. Yes, it's 2026, and this is how things are done when it comes to sorting problems out. And United need any money they can grab right now. They're in deep shit, and the owners simply are not putting their money where their mouth is, and they're out to cut costs. We've said this many times, and there's a huge doubt on whether they're going to go into the summer and spend big and improve this team. And if that is the doubt, then any manager looking over, any decent world-class manager looking over will be thinking, well, I don't want to join if I don't get guaranteed spend of like 300 mil or something in that region to get this team sorted. Because, of course, we know as fans, we watch this team week in, week out, and we know there are suspects in there that shouldn't be there. The usual suspects, we know who they are. Yes, they've been playing well under Carrick, but we know when the going gets tough, they're the most likely to crack under pressure and give way. So we all know who they are. Let me go to the chat. Let me see what everyone else is saying. How's it going? Niche, no serious manager is coming to us now due to that prick Radcliffe. Yeah, I think that's the general consensus between Man United fans. Hola, Helga, how you doing? Starting to become a bit better. All right, okay, good to hear, man. I had a bloody virus for the weeks. I'm so tired. Look, man, you take it easy, you rest. Viruses are very difficult to get rid of, and yes, it's all about resting, man. It's all about resting. I know you don't get much rest when you're a United fan. There's always something kicking off, something going off. But I guess that is the name of the game, isn't it? Supporting a club like this, you're always getting all sorts of news coming out. So yeah, look, Anderson is going to City. Yes, I've heard that news as well. I was waiting to get confirmation of this news. It's rumoured, but we've been saying this, haven't we? We've been saying this for months. I said to you months ago, at least a month ago actually, that look, Anderson is favourites to go to City. City have tapped him up, and if City can't box him off, then he's probably going to go to another club like maybe Liverpool. But Liverpool are looking at Wharton as their signing. However, I am hearing that even Liverpool are really, really keen on signing Anderson. But everyone's waiting to see who gets the signing. Look, if we've got City and Liverpool in the mix, we might as well rule ourselves out right now. Let's save ourselves the heartache of going for Anderson and then losing out, because unfortunately the current situation at United is not good. Financially, it's not good. And we are still, actually, I've got news for you, financial news in terms of loans and shit like that, that United are still having to extend because they haven't got the money. I mean, the audacity of Jim Ratcliffe to say what he said this week about people benefiting off the state and not making their own money, and then we've got the situation at United where we're completely skint. We're completely skint, right? We've got no money, and this guy's not willing to put any money into the club to sort things out either. We've got huge amounts of debt. He's not clearing that. We've got huge amounts of problems when it comes to our infrastructure, our stadium and stuff. Nothing's happening with that. Nothing's happening with the Glazers. I mean, look, if any players looking over at United thinking, do I join United or do I join Liverpool or City? You'd have to be completely barking mad to join United right now. And that's, it hurts me to say that. It really does. I want the best players to be coming to United. But if they're looking over and they've got stable clubs around who are offering them better salaries, number one, better facilities and everything else that goes hand in hand with being a professional footballer, of course, they're going to pick them. Why would they pick United? Unless things actually change at United and we have a project. What we have got with attraction that attracts players to United is our heritage, what we've done in the past. But that is very quickly running out. That credit in the bank is going down and down and down and down. And these young players now coming up, they don't remember the glory days of United. So they're not looking at United thinking, oh, wow, I want to play for Man United because I was a huge fan when I was young watching Giggs and Beckham and Ronaldo and Rooney. These guys don't remember that. They don't remember that era. You speak to kids right now, they don't know that era anymore. They forget that. They've forgotten that. All they think about is the most modern teams of United playing. And they don't see glory. In the last 10 years, they've not seen any glory. So we have got huge issues with that. I heard rumours that even me and Trav is on the show. Do you know what? I don't know what I would consider it. I think I'd consider it. If they offered me the job, I'd come in there. But look, I'd just say give it to Carrick in that case. You know, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, Helga. I think you might actually do a better job than me. You know, following in the footsteps of Solskjaer, another Norwegian coming in and sorting things out. Maybe they get some positivity from you, but for me, I'm going to be honest with you, I'll be worried about the finances. I would be worried. Enrique is literally coming. Ratcliffe has completely effed the club up. Enrique was literally coming, you're saying, because I think having looked at this, I think Enrique will be thinking, do I want to really come to a place where I'm not going to be seen as the right person? You know what I mean? I mean, let's read between the lines here, guys, right? I'm hearing the players are going to down tools until Ratcliffe is out. If I were betting, if I was the betting person, I guarantee we lose our next match. That is a really interesting point you make there, because I've heard that from several people as well, several fans talking about this would have psychologically affected the players. The players would have been left upset with what's happened this week. And there might be a possibility that they might think, screw this. Why are we here? Why are we supporting an owner? Why are we working towards a club that doesn't actually appreciate us being here? Hence why we got the late statement last night from Manchester United themselves, talking about inclusivity and positivity and whatnot and all that kind of rubbish. But we all knew what it was kind of saying. They were saying, look, we don't agree with our owner. I mean, how embarrassing is that? How embarrassing is that? We're talking about the club itself putting out a statement against the owner. I mean, you can't make this shit up, can you? This is United, just causing its own issues, And then we got news apparently today that the Glazers are upset with Jim Ratcliffe as well. And Jim Ratcliffe has had to apologise to them. So he's apologising left, right and centre right now. I mean, for saying what he said. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics of what he said, but you've got to be careful as the owner of a major institute, a club like United with billions of fans around the world. You cannot come out with whatever you feel like saying. The players have lost complete faith in Ratcliffe. They hate him now. I guarantee we fall off the cliff on purpose now. We know players get managers sacked. They can do the same to Ratcliffe. Well, look, there are calls from some quarters to say that Jim Ratcliffe should be selling his shares and just leaving United because he has brought the club into disrepute. And I mean, let's be honest, the backlash, the entire nation, there's the prime ministers and everyone else, there's everyone calling him out for it. And of course, he's come out and apologized, but the apology was weird. It wasn't really an apology. It was a half-hearted thing saying, look, the words I used were maybe not right or something like that. I didn't give it a deep thought, to be honest with you. I looked at it and thought, right, okay, look, this is going to carry on. And, whatever he said, we know what he said, and it was wrong. Simple as. I 100% guarantee we lose the game until Jim goes. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked, Nish. I've genuinely, I look in that dressing room and I think there's players in there who will be looking at this situation thinking, what the F is going on? Why are we playing for someone like this? How dare he say such things? I mean, it's clear. We're thinking from, all right, look, we've been born and bred here, but the players, they're coming over as migrants, right? They've come over to work. They've come over to make money, and they're probably thinking, shit, what is he talking about us? So look, there of course is going to be huge question marks, and I think about how much damage is done to himself. Never mind the club, but the damage is done to his own image. But I've got my theory on that, and I'll tell you what it is in a little while. So stick around and you'll get to hear my theory about what's going on with Jim Ratcliffe and why he came out and said those comments, why he made it such a big point of saying it, and why he said it in that interview. That interview wasn't even about what they were talking about. It wasn't about government policies and politics. It was about finances and his company Ineos, and they were talking about things like that. It wasn't anything to do with what he brought up. So that is what was interesting. Anyway, this season is going to be the biggest thing that's ever happened in football history. The players will oust Ineos. I can see it happening. I can see that happening. I can see things not calming down after this. I think we're lucky that there's no game immediately happening. Carrick has been saved from the immediate presser, where he would have definitely been asked questions and he would have been in a really tight spot. I mean, what would he answer? I mean, we've got some gap between our next game. So next time Carrick faces the media, that's going to be the first few questions, right? The first few questions will be flying in at him about Jim Ratcliffe and the owner having to say what he said and what Carrick's take is on it. And what does he do? Good thing is he's got time to formulate his answer. He's got time to think about what he's going to say. But anyway, if what I'm hearing is true, we lose every game until the end of the season by the players down in tools. This is going to be the thing in history, and we talked about for years to come. I can't see that happening, Nish. I really can't. I think the players will be professional. I think they'll be told by Carrick that, look, this is a separate thing. The owner's thoughts on things. He's only a part owner. The Glazers are the majority owners. So look, he's not only the person involved. And let's be honest, I think Carrick will talk them around. I think they have lost a lot of respect for Ratcliffe, but I think for the club, I still think they'll play for the fans. So I can't see them doing that. I can be crazy Klopp, and you can be the calm and balanced assistant. I'll send our resume. If that's the case, we can do that. The crazy Klopp. Do you know what? I know he managed Liverpool, but I really thought he would have done wonders for United if he came. And apparently he did sit down with Fergie, did have a chat with him, and things didn't work out. But I'm putting my neck on the line now. I guarantee we lose every game until Jim sells. You can clip this. Let's wait and see. Nish. I just can't see it happening. I really can't. I can see things taking a downward spiral. I can see things not working out for Jim Ratcliffe. Definitely. I think there might be question marks over whether he stays. I think he's going to probably be holding on as tight as possible. But I think there might be pressures from commercial pressures, from sponsors and all sorts who do not want to be surrounded with negativity. And look, end of day, money talks. Money is the big driving force here. Everything is down to money. And if the club is threatened or loses some kind of stability when it comes to commercial contracts, of course, then it might be a case where the Glazers say, look, mate, you're out. Off you go. On your bike. I would chill a bit, Nish. You aren't talking nonsense. I just think the players have their own ego and want to play in the Champions League. Yeah, I think so too. I think the players will remain professional. I don't think in any way they're going to turn around and say, look, we're not going to play for the club. Because you've got to remember there's 70 plus thousand fans who turn up, and obviously global fans around the world who'll be expecting them to play football and still do the job on the pitch. Yes, they'll still have their thoughts on Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers, and they've made them very clear. Even today, the banners outside Old Trafford and even inside Old Trafford next game or the game after, we'll see that they will not be in support of Ineos or the Glazers. Every United fan is in agreement. We want these guys out. We know they're not good enough for United. We know they're not actually going to make United successful given their track record. The Glazers, we know, the Ineos, we know with Nice, and now even with United. They've had plenty of time to get things right. They've had plenty of time to put money into United. They've had plenty of time to actually buy out the Glazers, but they've never done that. They've not done that. So that's why I think, look, it's an issue. It's an issue that I think the players will just carry on doing what they do. I love you, Travis, but I disagree. This is a turning point in history. This country is massively divided over this topic. The players will take a stand. Remember taking the knee. I do, but I just feel like I think the players will understand that they are simply playing for United, and the political atmosphere within the UK will not really be on their forefront. On their minds. I don't think so. Because they're footballers, they're multi-millionaires. Do they really care about what's going on the ground level? Not really. Everyone, like Helga says, unfortunately cares about their own self. We're a selfish race. We're a selfish type of humanity right now. No one really wants to give up their own comfort for somebody else. And I know that, yeah, in a world where people take principles seriously, there might have been a time where they might have done that, but I can't see them doing it in this instant. I really can't. I think they're going to play to the best of their abilities, and I want them to play to the best of their abilities. I don't want them to take this out upon the club, because the club is separate from Jim. And we all know Jim's an arsehole. We all know the Glazers are arseholes. We all have that. We've already signed them off for it. Yeah, we know that. So I think the players already know. Secretly, I think the players already knew that he's an arsehole. I think they've had more contact with him than we have. So they must have seen him around. I mean, before Jim Ratcliffe arrived at Old Trafford, he was talking shit about the team anyway. He was talking shit about the players. So I just think maybe they knew before us that this guy's just an arse, right? Maybe. Bruno, Menu, Kuna, Mbumo, etc. want us to buy class teammates for them in the summer. That's such a motivation, so I really don't think it's an issue. Yeah, I think they'd love that. They would love that. Love you, Helga. It's just thus it's definitely happening. I don't disagree with you, Nish. I don't think that's a bad thing. I just feel like it's not going to happen. That's all. From my experience, I look at it and think I can't see the players doing that. I think the players will remain a professional. That would be expected of them to do that. And of course, there's many clubs where owners are not liked by the players. There's always a disconnect, but the players will play to the best of their abilities because they have to. I doubt many of the players even like the Glazers, right, when they were playing under the Glazers, but they've had to just accept it. They're the ones who are paying their salaries. They're the ones who are making them their living, right? So you're not gonna chop your hand off that feeds, right? It feeds you. That's what I think anyway. I think both things can be right at the same time. You are right, and we are right. Helga's been very diplomatic tonight, eh? I think and hope the players will care and will take a stand, be against the ownership, but at the same time, these are millionaires who care more about their own careers than politics. Yeah, exactly. I think the same. I just think, look, I don't think that's gonna really affect their day-to-day work rate and what they do on the pitch. Yes, privately, I'm sure they all completely disagree with what he said and unhappy with it, because of course, like we discussed yesterday, most of our team are full of immigrants, right? They've all come here to work. They've all come here as economic migrants, just like Ineos. Sorry, not Ineos, just like Ratcliffe has moved to Monaco. My attitude as a player would be effing that racist owner, but I'm going to let him and that stand in my way I'm not going to let him stand in my way of reaching my goals. Yeah, I think that I think is going to be how the players approach it. I think the players are just going to be cold with him. They're just not going to probably go up to him and shake his hand like they probably did before. But the reality is that this goes a lot deeper. Now, many of you who don't live in the UK might not understand how politics works, but this guy's a billionaire, right? He's a billionaire who has had incentives, benefits from the government in the millions for his businesses. I think last time I read something, it was like £150 million in benefits, in grants from the government to support his businesses. That's crazy, right? And then it was coming to the United new stadium of Man United. There was talk about that being funded by the government as well, and development plans where they were looking for the government to actually go in there. But even that now is in doubt. Now, let's talk about why he's doing what he's doing. I don't believe this story, by the way, that the Manchester United new stadium development has been thrown into doubt. And I'll tell you why. And this is my take on it. I might be wrong, but I feel like I'm right. So you can clip this and you can put it out there, which I believe that Jim Ratcliffe knows that in another couple of years, the UK government will change to a new political party. We all know what that political party is. It's going to be the party of Nigel Farage of Reform. Whether you agree or not about them politics, I don't really want to get into it. All I'm telling you is the basis for why Jim Ratcliffe has said what he said. Now, Jim Ratcliffe has put his ball in the court of Reform and Nigel Farage, and he's saying, I'm backing this party to win. And the reason why he's done that and the reason why he's made those comments is because he wants to in the future be able to lean on the government of Nigel Farage and get help in building a new stadium. There you go. That's what I think is the plan. That's what I think is happening. So he knows the current government are not going to give him any money. They might already have said that to him. And the mayor of Manchester, Andy Burnham, who was highly critical of Jim Ratcliffe's comment and in fact had a huge dig at the Glazers at the same time, again, I feel like he knows that, look, I need the new government to support me, and the new government that's going to come in is not going to be the current government. So that's why he's said what he said. And I feel like, yes, I don't think he was expecting this a huge of a backlash, but he's doing that because he feels like come in the future when they're ready to build a stadium, because right now we're way off it. I mean, the talk of building a stadium, do not expect it to be in the next couple of years. I'm saying another 5 years or so, even before we start building or start actually planning for the stadium. By that time, there'll be a new government in place, boom, and that's where he gets his money from. That's where he gets his benefits or grants or whatever to build the stadium. That is why I think he's made the statement that he did. Now, I might be completely wrong, but that's what I think he's doing it for. And so this news story about the stadium being in doubt, I don't think that's the case. Now, in other news, we had Kieran Maguire, and he is the financial football financial expert. Kieran Maguire, really good. Seen him on a number of channels. It speaks a lot of sense. And he's confirmed today Manchester United take out an extension of a loan with Bank of a former colony America. And if you read in the details, now this might bore some of you, but I'm telling you, this is quite interesting. This is interesting because they've taken out a further extension of a loan, and this just shows you where United are at. We're not in a financially secure position. This is why we're struggling. And this is the most worrying thing. I've been highlighting this again and again. I've been saying it again and again, guys. Financially, we are shafted. Financially, we've got problems. We've got problems. And if any new manager is looking over at this, I mean, between the football circles, everybody knows what's going on in football circles. So if you don't have to do a lot of digging around. You just have to speak to someone who knows about finances to say, what's Man United like financially? Is it a stable club to go and work for? And within a couple of minutes, any accountant will be able to tell you, actually, this is not a good idea. You don't want to join them right now. They're in a complete turmoil financially. So do not join them. So that's why I said it from day one. I feel like attracting the very big talent, managerial talent for United is going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. I'm going to put my neck on the line here, guys, and I'm going to say, if we have a half-decent season and we qualify for Champions League, Michael Carrick's going to get the full-time job. It's going to be a no-brainer for Ineos. They know it's going to happen. They've already worked it out. The noise is coming out already. Wilcox is really happy with Carrick's start and everything else. Unless something drastically changes and we, like Nish is predicting, we completely lose all our remaining games, or we do not qualify for Champions League. I think if we do not qualify for Champions League, Carrick's not going to get the job. It's going to then they're going to open it up to other managers. But if we qualify for Champions League, I think he gets the job. He gets the job. I don't even think. I know he gets the job. I know that's bold, and you might be thinking, what is Travis on about? It's Friday night. This guy's been smoking something. But I'm telling you, that is what's going to happen. If he qualifies for Champions League, mark my words, Michael Carrick will get the full-time job, no matter which manager is available, whether Eddie Howe becomes available, whether a few other managers around the Premier League become available. We're still going to appoint Michael Carrick as the full-time manager of Man United. That's how it's going to go down. Of course, there's opportunities around. There'll be other managers available. I think the nightmare scenario of Southgate could still be there. I mean, can you believe this? Southgate is still on the table. I mean, every other manager is dropping. But Southgate is still there, man. I'm shitting my pants. I'd rather take Carrick over Southgate. I mean, let me know if you think that's ludicrous, but that's what I think anyway. This will be the catalyst to get Ineos out. They cannot be paid. They get their money no matter what. And I truly hope so. Abraham, welcome, mate. Big up, Travis. Did you hear Jim Ratcliffe? Apparently, he called Glazers and he's apologised. The Glazers are worried about losing money. Of course they are, mate. Of course they are. It all comes down to money. It all comes down to money. Everything that these billionaires say, it's down to money. They don't think like normal people. I remember going to a course once and it was a psychology course. It was just like a day course where we were doing some training, and the lecturer there, she kind of put up all these billionaires from around the world, and she said, "Look, do you know what? All these billionaires, what do you think they've got in common?" And we all took guesses about, they're good at this and they're good at numbers and this, and she said there's one thing in common with all these billionaires, and that is that they all tick the criteria, or they satisfy the criteria of psychopaths. They're ruthless. They completely do not care about anybody else in their life apart from themselves, and that's why they've got to the position that they've got to. They will step over and step on whoever they want to get to that position. So that's what we've got to remember. When we're hearing Jim Ratcliffe speak, and when he's coming out with this shit about everything that he's come out with, it's a bigger ploy. He's not talking about us. He's not talking about the United fans or United or anything. He's talking about himself. It's all to do with him, and there's some deeper meaning behind it. So we all need to kind of relax a little bit. And of course, he's going to apologise to the Glazers, because the Glazers must be sat there panicking, thinking, "Oh shit, we've been keeping quiet for all these years, just plodding along, and here comes this guy and he's throwing a bloody grenade right into the centre of this whole fiasco, right?" And of course, it's going to be a big issue. Luman, welcome, mate. What Ratcliffe said will be forgotten in a few days, and life goes on. Worse things have taken place and were spoken of, but are all forgotten with time. Life goes on. I think so. I think, look, he'll be forever remembered that he made such a comment. I think many people will be like, "Oh yeah, he's that guy." If you're non-United fans, and I think if you're not United fans, it just gives you another reason to hate him. That's what it is, right? So all United fans are probably thinking, "Oh, they'll use that against him when the time comes. When the time comes, it's just going to be another nail in his coffin." That's what it's going to be. It's going to be, right, okay, yeah, he said this, he did that, he did this, and look at that. So that's all it's going to be. It's going to be one of those things that he's going to probably regret saying, because it's going to keep him in the bad books of many people. Helga, I guarantee it happens. I'm going to be turning a point in history. Big up, my guy. I really hope so. What does kick our racism out, or kick a racism out of football mean? If you can't kick a racist owner out of the football, it's completely meaningless. Their players are only ones who can do this. They will do it for sure. I can't see it happening. I think the FA are investigating Sir Jim Ratcliffe's comments and stuff. I can't see anything happening as a result of that either. I think they might slap him on the wrist and say, "Do not say such things, and you should be careful with whatever statement you make," and blah blah blah. And I think the fact that he's come out and put a somewhat apology out there, I think is going to make do. Is going to make do. I don't know what else to make of it, guys. I really don't. Present government is clueless, just like our ownership model. Yeah, I mean, look, let's not get into politics. I mean, I'm trying to veer away from politics because I know it gets a bit messy. It gets a lot messy, doesn't it? I mean, everyone's got their thoughts on different aspects of policies and politics and stuff. I like to stick to football, but of course it's difficult with bloody Jim Ratcliffe coming out and saying what he bloody did. I don't know if this has been said, but it will impact United in sponsorship. Adidas have already threatened to withdraw sponsorship, and we have no sleeve sponsor and training top sponsor. Yeah, you're right, Jim. That I did say that at the opening of the show. That commercial deals, and let's be honest, the Glazers care about the commercial success of the club because that's what their division is. That's what they're in charge of. So essentially, they've probably been saying to Jim, "You idiot! You're affecting our division here. Our commercial sector of the club is going to be affected because what you've just said on your side of the footballing side of things. Why have you said all this? I mean, behind closed doors, I'm sure that's what they'd probably be saying behind closed doors. I don't know whether they would have said it to Jim Ratcliffe, but of course they won't be too happy because of course the game is global. There's global fans around the world who are probably listening to Jim Ratcliffe coming out with this, and yeah, they're not going to be pleased, man. We've got billions of fans around the world. That's what makes Man United different. It's huge. It's not just about England, unfortunately. I mean, even if Jim thinks it is, I mean, it's not anymore. Mbumo immigrant, Ahmad immigrant, Kuna immigrant, Sesko immigrant, Bruno immigrant, Casemiro immigrant, Leach immigrant, Dallo immigrant. Sir Jim is right. UK full of immigration. Yeah, I mean, I think he's look. I don't want to even go through it. I don't even go through the statement. I've had enough, man. I've had enough. Look, what he said was completely crazy, and whatever you want to make of it, but we all know it's caused an absolute shitstorm we didn't need. We were actually riding bloody high. I said this yesterday. We were actually loving what's going on. 4 wins, 1 draw. We're cooking. Carrick is cooking. He would have got manager of the month. We were loving everything that was going on. Why the flip mention what you did? And I think this plays into the factor of the managers also not wanting to come. I think, look, that's the impact it's going to make for United, because until these owners are still here, who've already got a bad reputation, let's be honest, the owners weren't everyone's cup of tea even before this week. Everyone, I'd say a good 90% of the fans and the exterior people who were not fans thought the Glazers and Ineos were a shit show already, right? So, I mean, this doesn't really help their look. Carrick and Holland are doing really well, keeping squad happy. They start or on the bench. That's crucial. Yeah, look, I got hats off, man. Whatever Carrick is saying to the players is working. He is doing a brilliant job on man management, and so is Steve Holland. So both of them are making a great team. And then we've got obviously the other chaps in who is Evans and so forth, who are chipping in as well. I so hard want to disagree with you regarding Carrick, but I can't. It's staring us in the face. It's equivalent of we got food at home. Yeah. Look, Helga, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen, man. I can see it. The writing is already on the wall. And unless something drastic changes, I'm telling you, we are going to have Michael Carrick announced as the new manager of Man United come the end of the season if we get Champions League football. Or if we just miss out. I still think he's still got a chance. But it's absolutely happening. It's absolutely happening if he gets Champions League. Exactly, Jim. I'm hearing Snapdragon are considering pulling out of the sponsorship as well as Adidas. The legal, all illegal immigrants, yes, Sandil, yes. Yeah, they all, look, there's a big debate on, whether he meant legal or illegal and things like that. I just think it's funny that he met with Farage a week before and he just sounds exactly like him. I think he just rubbed off on him. That's what's happened. I think he's just picked up these terms and figures from his meeting with Farage, and well, the rest is, he just regurgitated everything out in the interview when there was no need to. There was no need to say whatever you said, you idiot. Honestly, he's crazy, man. His apology means nothing. He made the statement and clarified it by doubling down on it. Yeah, he did get a chance to kind of say, actually, I take that back. I didn't actually mean that. I mean, the interview questioned him a number of times. He was like, what are you actually saying those words? Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. I doubled down on it. Yeah, Helga, growing food in your back garden tastes good, but it's easier to go to the shops. That's a lazy option they probably will choose. Yeah, I mean, unless there's a ready-made option available. I get your point, Stephanie, because If a manager who is highly regarded becomes available and is there waiting, ready to be taken on, they might opt for him thinking, right, okay, do you know what? We don't want to risk taking Carrick on and then him flapping it the next season, because there is a risk of that. And then they're back to square one again. But I just feel like Ineos and the Glazers have never had a plan going forward. So I don't think they know what they want. I don't think they know what manager they need. I don't think they have got that planned. They never did, because they brought Ruben Amorim in. That was their plan. That was their grand stroke. That was their master stroke in bringing in Ruben Amorim, and they flapped it. They well and truly messed things up. And now, do you trust them to make this a better decision now? What's changed? What's different about Ineos now so that they're going to get this appointment right? And with Carrick, he's essentially fell in their lap. He's come and literally taken the job himself. He's come in and said, I want to do this job. I want you to consider me. And they're like, we're not quite sure. Do we take him on and do we not? And we'll spend a week thinking about it, interviewing Solskjaer, thinking about whether he should get the job or not. And then actually Solskjaer might have demanded one or two players. Carrick said, I'll just do the job with what I've got and we'll go with Carrick. I think that's what's happened. I think that's how they've decided on the interim manager position. And they have thought, right, okay, he will kind of toddle along. We might win or lose a couple of games. We might not get into the Champions League, but at least we'll get into top 10, and that will show the fans, and we can at least turn around and say we have progressed from last season. We've done better than last season, so it shows progression, because these guys think like businessmen. They don't think like football fans. They don't care about United qualifying for Champions League. All they want to do is show on a graph that we've done better than last season. Oh, look, it's going up, so that means we've done better. So we've done a great job. Just like Jim Ratcliffe did say just the other day, I might be not liked or something, he said, but, I've made the hard decisions and look what the team's doing now. Look how good we're playing. Mate, shut the F up, man. You've done jack shit. It's Carrick who's come in and turned things around. Yet you've got the audacity to turn around and tell everybody that it's because of you that the team has started playing well. It's because you took that decision to sack Ruben Amorim. You didn't take that decision to sack Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim literally shot himself. He literally committed suicide. He literally said, I want out. He literally pointed the guns at Ineos, and it was always going to be the sacking the next day. We called it the night before. I said to you guys, the night we drew against Leeds, I think we drew anyway. It was like I said right after that press conference, I was like, guys, I think he's going to get sacked. Go on, see my tweets. I tweeted it out. I think I responded to Rich from what's his channel? I can't remember his channel. You guys are always on it. United Devil or something. I can't remember which one it is yet. But and he asked me directly about, do you think he's going to get the sack? And I said, yeah, he's getting the sack tomorrow. But I don't want to claim credit for it. It was not a wild guess, but it was a calculated guess that he's going to get the sack. So yeah, Helga says, Stephanie, I want to be taken out to a Michelin-star restaurant instead of us reheating some leftover stew that we already have in the fridge. I do love his analogies. I do love Helga, man. You always cook with these analogies. Luis Enrique versus Carrick. Well, let's be honest. One is a fine dining experience in Luis Enrique, and the other one, I guess you could say, is a microwave meal. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, it's a little bit harsh. I think, look, Carrick, I'm liking Carrick. I must admit, I'm liking Carrick. I do like him. I think he's nice. He's come across good with the players, but is nice going to get you, trophies? That's my big concern. Will this guy be able to take us to where we need to be and get the glory back, the trophies back to United? And will he be able to do that without any investment? Will he have the balls to turn up and sit across the table to Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers and say, you need to back me. I need money. I want money. And I just can't see that happening. I just can't see Carrick being that guy, turning around and saying, we need to be backed. We need money here. Okay, I think that's where I think the problem lies. Carrick is not a stew, but you get me. 18 months will be 8th, and Carrick out of his depth again. Sorry, but I want a manager who has managed in the top 5 leagues lots of years. I want experience. You want a manager who's taken clubs to Champions League finals and won. You know they've got the pedigree, they've got the heritage, they know what it takes for a team to go and win the Champions League. Carrick, unfortunately, hasn't got that experience. And again, will it be a situation where we've got a manager who's learning on the job? It's like an apprenticeship. We're giving an apprentice a job and hoping that he suddenly becomes the master at what he's doing and he's going to start winning us trophies. He might do over many years, but let's be honest, in the modern day of football, no one's waiting many years. We want instant success. We want to start winning trophies yesterday. And I don't think he's going to get that much time if he's brought in. Helga, I like that your dinner day is ready. I'm good too, Jim. Just a long wait till our next game. Yeah, it is a bit shitty, isn't it? I mean, I was looking at that and I was thinking, oh, this is going to be such a boring weekend and, week just watching other football being played and not having your own team in action. Steph, you're a legend. I agree with that. Helga, I do. They are doing a great job keeping the players happy until Ratcliffe exposed himself as a racist bigot. Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to spot on. Owners are reactive and not proactive. Yeah, they're not gonna move on anything. We're just gonna watch them sit until the end of the season, and then they're gonna be like, okay, we need to make a decision now. Oh shit, we do. All right, okay, let's look around. Who's available? Let's give it to Carrick. Let's just go with Carrick. It's easier. You watch the next game is going to be insane. 0 goals, 0 chances, players passing and kicking it on purpose. I can't see them doing that. I really can't. One thing I have with Carrick, and I know that's probably a me thing, but he is just so boring to listen to. And we all like different things. I like personality. Look, I've got used to him. I used to feel, when Carrick was a player and he used to come out and do the press conferences, I used to be like, wow, this guy's such a square. Like, why does he come out sounding like he's half asleep? But as a manager right now, I just feel like, yeah, I don't want any drama. I just want the manager to come out and say, yeah, okay, good, boom, 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 and just get over and done with. So I know what you mean. I guess you all like the Mourinhos. You want a manager to have swagger. You want him to have aura. Yeah, we haven't got that in Carrick. We haven't. He's a very, placid type of guy. You're right, Niche. I saw and felt against West Ham that was a drop-off. In borderline, I'm borderline semi-autistic. When it comes to press conferences, I missed max 10 pre-post matches the last 20 years. I've already skipped the same amount while Carrick has been here. Wow. He's you can predict what he's going to say. No, Sandil, that was before Adolf Ratcliffe spoke. Niche, man. Niche is guns blazing, man. He doesn't care, does he? He's like, yeah, Ratcliffe out. And look, I'm not happy with. He's put fuel onto the fire, hasn't he? I mean, so I think many people will be like you, Niche, saying just get out and be done with. My point is, he's probably a nice guy, but he's just so vanilla and uninspiring. But I'm probably not being fair. But I just think it would be like being at the library rather than at the look. I just feel like he's boring. I can't even defend him. Helga. I can't. I think you're right. You are right, but. Yeah, you can't. Very long time, unfortunately. That's the game. That's the gap between our games. Now, we're going to have more gaps like this, guys, unfortunately. We've got, March coming up, which, again, we've got hardly any football in. The players are going to lose on purpose to get him out. The majority of the fan base will understand it. Says Niche. I agree with you there that it's nice to have a boring guy just for now, so I agree there, but for long term, no thanks. Yeah, I think for long term we do need someone who's got that charisma, someone who can put the press to shame or quiet. I remember Fergie used to just stare at journalists just because they asked a silly question and he would put them right. I just can't see Carrick doing that. I think, look, the thing so far is that Carrick's having a honeymoon period, but we've all seen that that's all well and good, but the moment the press come down hard upon you, it gets very tricky, and that's when you see whether Carrick can handle the heat or not, and I feel like that's where he might struggle. But Nish, something was off. It felt like Amrin again was at that performance. The West Ham game was off, but I felt like that was because Carrick and the players didn't want to lose the game. So it was like the worst case scenario, we don't want to lose. So whatever happens, we don't want to lose. And I think they gave too much respect to West Ham. But I really, really like Carrick. One of my favourite players ever at United. And I really love him as a person. Just don't want him as our long-term manager. That's it. Yeah, I get that, man. I think most fans will say that. I think most fans will say it's well and good, like in the interim period. But in the long run, do we want a manager who is Michael Carrick? And most will probably say, no, we'll probably take someone who's been there, done there, got the t-shirt, got the experience, and we know that he can handle the hot seat when it does really get hot. You might have a clue of my favourite is, but don't spoil it. I'm saving it for later show we do together. I can say that my favourite would not go down popular by most fans, and I don't care. Do you know what, Helga? Saying that, this weekend, what we'll do is we'll plan a show together where we will do our best players. We've got gap in the game, so we've got to make it up anyway. So let's do a show where we will, and I'll talk to you off air about this, but we will arrange something together where we can do a show about our best players, our best team, and we can play and see who would get into our overall 11. So you can bring your players, I'll bring mine, and we will see who can bring in the most players into their first 11. Because look, there's lots of top names to choose from, and we can reminisce about the good old days where United were just unbelievable at football, and that's what I love doing. I mean, going down that is just amazing. Travis, you need to read the autobiography of Sir Alex Ferguson. I've not read. I've read one of his books. I can't remember which one it was, but I can't remember which. I think he's got a couple, hasn't he now? But yeah, I need to probably sit down and read it. I've read one of his books, and it was enlightening. I mean, everything from how he got rid of players at Beckham, the Stam incident, that was really crazy to read about, how he drove him out to a petrol station or something it was. I can't remember now, and told him. It was just insane. He was just something else. I mean, does not get the credit that is due. Carrick is our next manager, says Sandil. That's really good pun for those who get it, by the way. And Helga says, Luman, I've read the Sir Alex Ferguson autobiography, but I've also read Ten Hag's. You read Ten Hag's? Wow, you are a patient guy. Man, I wanted that guy to succeed, but let's not revisit that trauma. Do you know what? I got a Ten Hag... I got a Ten Hag flag, man. That's how much I wanted him to succeed. Look at this, guys. Look at this bold guy, Ten Hag. Here we go. Remember what he looks like? There we go. Hello, guys. It's me. Remember me. Yeah, I mean, look, Ten Hag. Yeah, that's how much I really thought he was going to be a success. But clearly, I'm not the right man to judge managers and their success, because the moment after that, I mean, Ruben Amorim came in and I was all over Ruben Amorim thinking, yeah, this is the guy, man. This guy's got the aura, he's got the charisma, he's going to come in and sort United out, and boom, his win rate's awful and he's gone. But yeah, I mean, look, it's what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. I thought he was the next Ferguson. Yeah, I felt like when he came in with all the discipline, I thought, brilliant. Finally, we've got a manager who's gonna crack the whip and get things sorted. But Clearly not, and same thing with Amrin. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave the show there. We've gone near enough to the hour mark. I want to thank you, everybody, Helga, Nish, Luman, Sanas, and Jim and Steph, everybody joining tonight. It's been a great show, and we'll be back again, probably not tomorrow. We're taking a day out, and then on Sunday we'll be back with an evening show and looking back at all the weekend's football and discussing everything, and of course hoping that all of them bloody lose. Actually, no, I don't. Actually, I want all of them to win and stay in. I want them to stay in all the cup competitions, so they all stretched by their squads, and it's only us who have got the rest time between all our games. Anyway, that's it. Take care, enjoy yourself, enjoy your weekend.